Hey Fasters! Time for another video! I've been a Harry Potter fan since 2002. I've also been practicing intermittent fasting for 4 years now. A couple weeks back, I just had this outrageous idea. What if Harry Potter actually tried intermittent fasting? How would his friends react? Will he be successful with it? In today's video, I'm going to talk about how Harry Potter would react to intermittent fasting if he gave it a try. Actually, I think he's already done it in the past unconsciously, since the Dursleys kept him locked under the stairs or in his room. Who knows how long the intervals Vernon or Petunia imposes when they bring him meals, right? Before we get started, my name is Christian and I've been doing intermittent fasting for 4 years. In this channel, I talk about intermittent fasting and natural weight loss content so you can live a whole lot longer. If that sounds exciting to you, tap the subscribe button so you won't miss my weekly videos. I'd love to have you part of our community. Okay, let's imagine Harry Potter put on some weight during his summer break after year 5. Since Harry came back to Hogwarts, everyone kept telling him that he had put on weight, but he couldn't help it. The last summer was pretty rough and his general enthusiasm had dropped, and honestly, who could blame him? He missed his Uncle Sirius and he felt the presence of Voldemort more than ever. Ron empathized with him and in general left him alone with his cart of food every afternoon. Hermione, however, did not really understand this trick of self-pity. So, one day, she told him enough is enough and that he must do something about his overeating because cholesterol levels have spiked in the wizard world in the past 2 years and she will not accept Harry being one of those cases. Harry did not seem to care about his health. In fact, he kept saying that he would prefer to get so fat he could not move if that meant he would never get to see Voldemort again. Of course, that made no sense and Hermione told him so. Well, after a week of Hermione nagging Harry to start dieting, he finally gave in. Stage 1. After Harry decided he would get in shape, one final decision remained. What diet plan would he follow? Hermione told him that there are a lot of diet plans to try out, and since she had never gone on a diet herself, they could try them all out and see which one is best suited for Harry. So, Harry tried every diet out there, from keto to vegan to pescatarian and so on. Those diets seemed to work the first month, but after a while, Harry always put the weight back on. He just couldn't follow them that well because he always craved nightly sweets. He had lost all hope for his physique, up until one day, Hermione found a solution. A diet that Harry had not tried yet that in theory seemed great. Intermittent fasting. Harry, of course, had no idea what that was. Ron, who had front row seats to the Harry Potter diet spectacle, chimed in and said that intermittent fasting was simple. All you had to do was not eat after 10 p.m. Harry decided to go with that since it seemed easy. But of course, that did not give him any good results. Hermione stepped in again and said to him, "Harry, how could that idea possibly work? You've been eating food at such a quantity that you should look like a balloon by now." Oh my god, that's such a bad impression of Hermione. But Harry did not understand why the diet did not work. He just felt like he was doomed to stay unfit. But one day, just when Harry thought all hope was lost, Hermione gave him a book entitled All About Fasting, the ultimate guide to intermittent fasting. Link below in the description. Shameless plug. She told him that everything he needed to know about intermittent fasting should be covered by the contents of the book and that he should read it before he started dieting again. Stage 2. Harry opened the book and found everything that someone should know about intermittent fasting. The book first explained what intermittent fasting is, which Harry did not know. Intermittent fasting is an eating pattern that cycles between periods of fasting and eating. It doesn't specify which foods you should eat, but rather when you should eat them. In this respect, it's not a diet in the conventional sense, but more accurately described as an eating pattern. Common intermittent fasting methods involve daily 16-hour fasts or fasting for 24 hours twice per week. Okay, seems pretty easy, Harry thought. Fasting apparently is something that humans evolved to do because they could not always catch prey, so they stayed for a few days without food. Fasting is the lighter version of that, essentially. That is why it is considered by some people more natural than eating every day based on a strict schedule. After that, the book explained the different ways one can fast. The 16-8 method. Also called the Lean Gains Protocol, it involves skipping breakfast and restricting your daily eating period to 8 hours, such as 1 to 9 p.m. then you fast for 16 hours in between. The 5-2 diet. With this method, you consume only 500 to 600 calories on 2 non-consecutive days of the week, but eat normally the other 5 days. Eat, stop, eat. This involves fasting for 24 hours, once or twice a week. For example, by not eating from dinner one day until dinner the next day. Out of all the types of fasting, Harry preferred the 16-8 method since it seemed less restrictive. He did, however, fear that by changing his eating habits, that drastically his system and his mood would be affected. By reading the next few chapters, however, he found out that fasting not only improves insulin imbalance and cellular repair, but also gene expression. In addition to that, it improves hormonal imbalances and slow metabolisms, so it was a win-win situation. Okay, he now knew everything he needed to officially start. Now came the time to act. Before I continue, I have a small request. Videos on my channel take considerable time to make because I want to create the best content for you and other viewers. If you can hit the like button, it really helps the channel. And if you want to see more fun videos like this, tap the subscribe button so you won't miss my weekly videos. Stage 3. Harry had been fasting for about 3 hours, the longest 3 hours of his life. Now that he was cautious to eat nutritious food and to stay on a caloric deficiency, fasting did not seem so easy. His stomach felt empty and the feeling was alien to him. Even though he wasn't exactly hungry, he desperately wanted to gobble up a few licorice sticks and maybe drink a few butterbeers. The thought of sneaking out with his invisibility cloak was really tempting despite the danger he would get himself into. But no, he resisted. He knew the first day was going to be the hardest. Fast forward to tomorrow, Harry woke up feeling great, but his stomach was ready for some food. Just as he sat down with a plate full of breakfast, Hermione came out of nowhere and chastised him. She said, "You know you're not supposed to eat breakfast, Harry. Honestly, not even 16 hours has passed. You are in serious need of my hands-on help." Harry gulped, knowing what that meant. He was going to have to suffer through endless self-control lessons. When the class was over later that day, the 3 friends gathered somewhere no one would bother them. Harry was nervous seeing the determined look Hermione had on her face, and Ron was ready to have a good laugh seeing those two annoy each other. Hermione first explained the rules of fasting to Harry, again, because it seemed to her that he was not paying any attention the first time. Then, she gave him a list of foods that he should avoid, a list of foods he should eat to stay full, and an eating schedule. The real test came after that, however, when Hermione suddenly said, "Well, it's past 9 o'clock, time to fast, Harry." Then, with a quick spell, she materialized a bunch of mouth-watering foods in front of him. So sneaky! Ron died of laughter. Harry tried to sneakily grab something from the plates of food in front of him, but was quickly zapped with a tiny spark that came out of Hermione's wand. Or ridiculously funny, as Ron kept on saying. It was all fun and games until Madly resists the food from Hermione's spell, but also resists any other cravings in the next months to come. After a few months, Harry realized that not only he had lost all the weight that he wanted, but that any claims he had read about intermittent fasting were completely true. He was so glad Hermione recommended him the ultimate guide to intermittent fasting, link below in the description. He felt better than ever and his Quidditch performance was phenomenal. Not only that, but everything seemed to be better about him. His mood was no longer sour all the time and he rarely got angry without reason. His thinking seemed to be sharper and it showed on his test marks. Snape, of course, always suspected him of cheating, but he didn't even care. He had accomplished a goal he wanted to for a long time and everything was great for now. And now, it was time for his next goal, stop Voldemort. Do you think Harry can stick with the 16-8 intermittent fasting method? Let us know in the comments. I'm currently experimenting on some new content so I can present intermittent fasting in a fun way while still being able to link its benefits. Who do you think should try intermittent fasting? Let me know in the comments below, a fictional character from books, TV, or movies that I should feature next. Till then, you can watch actual people practice intermittent fasting with that video on your right. Yup, the 13 celebrities.